Dear ladies, gentlemen, and fellow advocates of inclusivity, I'm honored to take you on a journey of resilience, courage, and empowerment through the lens of women with disability. The story begins like any other, quite ordinary. In a vibrant state in India, Karnataka, a baby girl is born 34 years ago, breaking the streak of baby boys in her family. This girl is born with a condition called osteogenesis imperfecta, and that's when life became not so ordinary for people around her. This condition brings in many physical limitations and challenges from the beginning of their life. Fractures became a regular occurrence, making hospital beds more familiar than playgrounds. And let me tell you, hospitals are not so fun. As you may have already guessed, this girl is me, Dhanya Ravi. Rather than a motivational speaker, I like to call myself a motivational listener. I listen to people and then encourage them to do what they already know that needs to be done. Currently, I work as a full time employee for a non profit organization as well. I tend to follow my heart more than my head, which is why I have written everything straight from my heart. So if you catch me scrolling through my phone a lot, I'm just trying to remember what it has said. The challenges I faced went far beyond my physical aspects. In a society where disability means limitations, I also had to deal with societal stigma and discrimination. Getting education was difficult because schools were not inclusive, and finding a job even more so because I had not graduated from university. My hopes and aspirations stayed within the four walls of my own room. But don't worry, the story will take you outside my room. And I didn't mean hospital this time. And that's partly because of my teacher who volunteered to teach me for 10 years. I'm incredibly grateful to her. No one told me I could do anything but cry. It wasn't until I started looking out from my own self I realized that people can make positive contribution despite their struggles. Because of my teacher, I was able to complete my 10th grade through mainstream syllabus books when homeschooling was not just popular and could do higher studies through open universities. Her teaching went far beyond academic books. She drew lessons from life itself, imparting invaluable wisdom along the way. She volunteered 2 hours every day for 10 long years, and it did make a tremendous impact in my journey. I've been in the front line of job hunting, and let me tell you, finding work from home opportunity before the rise of remote work was extremely difficult. I also realized that although I'm good at communication, my knowledge of content writing did not count as expertise because I had not done formal schooling. This led me to work some pretty unconventional gigs, ranging from data entry to my full time job at Enable India. My friends and colleagues recognized more potential than me than what I saw in myself. It took me 4 to 5 years to establish as a professional with disability. It's been a journey filled with more twists and turns than a regional serial. I faced more accessibility barriers than a Bahu does to get decent treatment in the daily soaps. From inaccessible lifts, ward sinks, vehicles, it's endless. And this story is not just mine. In fact, that's the story of millions of people with disability. Around 13.6 million people with disability are at an employable age. Around 74% of them need skill training. And there is a good reason for this. When a child is born with a disability, the parents often prioritize caregiving over education, which is understandable. I remember receiving a comment on my social media account from a young girl with disability whose parents would not allow her to go around the city apart from her work. And that's not just her story. Children with disabilities are often overprotected, restricted from leaving the house with their parents taking extreme interest in every little part of their daily life. Due to this, the child grows up to be an adult who is not prepared to step into the world and take charge of their own life. When you are denied access to formal education, you miss out learning valuable skills required to enter the job market. Another reason is when families don't believe in their child's potential or ability and therefore doesn't invest in their development. People with disabilities may lack essential reading, writing, or math related skills and problem solving abilities that are required to work in the most job roles. We would be the best at something we are passionate about, but there is no chance to prove it because we don't even get called for interviews. When employers screen resumes, they almost always look for a certain minimal education qualification. And when a prospect employee doesn't meet these requirements, it means that automatic disqualification. Lack of employment opportunity then adds to the obstacles that are already existing in the lives of a person with disability. It leads to financial instability, limited career growth, and overall lower quality of life. While lack of education is one concern, organizations also doubt whether an employee with disability can keep up with their colleagues or follow professional etiquette. I admit it takes some effort to hire people with disabilities because our world isn't it built to be inclusive. There is a lot of work to be done at both the ends. You might be thinking, why should or why would companies spend time, effort, and other resources to do this? It's clearly expensive. They must make buildings and software accessible, have flexible timings, rework hiring policies, and sensitize the team. I will give you a simple reason. Disability friendly accessibility features benefits everyone. It's called the curb cut effort. For example, closed captioning not only benefits people who are hard of hearing or deaf, but those who don't understand the accent or fast speaking actor. Automatic doors help mothers who are carrying their babies or someone who are having a lot of shopping bags. Rams aid special aid support for older people, and the list is endless. Even if we look at the benefits for just companies and persons with disability, here is a glimpse into why disability inclusion hiring practices should be a must. When you hire persons with disability, you have the chance to make your products and services disability friendly. And this opens a company's customer base. And well, I don't need to tell you what happens next. More customers means more love for your brand. And let's be honest, more love means more profits. So it's not just about doing good, it's about doing good while doing great. Think of it like this: life throws curveballs, right? Sometimes out of nowhere, bum. Disability can happen to anyone, anytime. Having folks with disabilities on the team is like having a living testament that if the unexpected happens, we're there for each other. It's about building trust, knowing that if the unexpected happens, we are not hitting the eject button on our teammates. Having people with disabilities on board brings fresh perspectives and creativity to the table, and it can lead to creative problem solving and team building. Innovations can happen only if organizations invest in people with disability, and the numbers just line up. According to a study by Accenture, businesses that actively look into hiring persons with disabilities perform better than higher companies, and this was done in 2018. A follow-up study done in 2020 shows that organizations that prioritize disability engagement increase their sales by 3 times and profits by 4 times compared to others. But how many persons with disability are actually employed? The statistics paint a stark reality. Only a fraction are employed. 3.4 million of 13.4 million persons with disability of the employable age have a job in India. 70% of them have no awareness or access to opportunities and solutions. Investing in education is instrumental in not only opening the doors to the job market, but to enable people with disability to stay there and succeed. But that doesn't mean there has been no progress at all. The organization that I work offer livelihood opportunities and support tailored to 21 different disabilities. Those placed through the organization have earned anywhere between 65,000 rupees to 18 lakhs per annum. In general, attitudes have gradually changed towards disability over the years, both physical and mental. Today, we see people being encouraged to speak up about their struggles and about their achievements. As we talk about the employment opportunity, let's address the elephant in the room. Women at work. Every day, women without disability are fighting for equal pay and job opportunity, fair acceptance, and other workplace related rights. This extends to women with disabilities as well. Do you know the number of women with disability who are employed in India? Only 23% out of 11.8 million women with disabilities as compared to 47% of men. And it is just not employment that women with disabilities face barriers. There are restrictions on education. We must constantly deal with assumptions that we can't take care of a family or manage a partnership and so on. As a woman with disability, the road to personal independence is a long and hard one. The road to changing mindsets, even longer. My journey of self advocacy and empowerment began when I was 28. I see myself and other people with disability as pretty ordinary, common people living regular lives. But in the eyes of the world, even simple activity like going to the restaurant, gardening, or using a phone can seem extraordinary done by persons with disability. And this is the exact thing that needs to be changed. Through education, raising awareness, and policy advocacy, we can dismantle barriers and create opportunity for the community. Refashion the existing norms for people with disability to not just survive with the bare minimum, but benefit from accessible education, accessible job, accessible everything. I also had this wonderful opportunity to join hands with NGOs to change the existing narratives, break down barriers, talk about my journey, and transform the lives of those who saw the struggles reflected in mine. I tend to make my journey and others like mine seen as ordinary. From the lens of disability, I discovered a newfound sense of wholeness, a recognition of my inherent worth, and the unique perspective I brought to the table. I also found strength through the support of my loved ones and in the collective power of the disability community. I faced more accessibility barriers than a clumsy cat trying to jump a fence, but I've dealt a knack for hurdling over them. I've rubbed shoulders with all sort of characters in this field, which has been like attending a crash course in diversity. Every day feels like a new chapter in my book of life. Though we have come afar for our mission for inclusivity, it is still in progress. People with disability face barriers every day, from broken sidewalks to the daily challenges. The rights are a birthright, and we should not stop pursuing them. Let's tackle stereotypes head on and champion inclusivity like it's our superhero mission. Let's come together to create a world where everyone, regardless of their ability, can thrive and be seen as ordinary. Liberation is not a destination but a journey, a continual pursuit of fairer, more just, and inclusive global community. Thank you.